The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing chess while the rest of the NFL is playing checkers. Instead of making reckless, overhyped moves in free agency, they're making calculated decisions that are setting them up for long-term success. While teams are overpaying for big names, the Bucs are keeping their core intact, bringing back key veterans, and adding the right pieces where it matters most. They aren't just building a team for this season, they're crafting a roster that can dominate for years. And the best part? They're doing it without breaking the bank. Most people think a team must make flashy signings to get better, but Tampa Bay proves otherwise. They already had one of the most complete rosters last season's, ranking 4th in scoring offense and 3rd in passing yards per game. Their biggest issue? Injuries, especially in the secondary, which left them vulnerable in key moments. But instead of overreacting, the Bucs are staying disciplined. They re-signed top talent, made smart additions on defense, and secured one of the most underrated moves of the offseason, a signing that could turn their pass rush into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. That's what makes Tampa's strategy so dangerous. They aren't desperate, they aren't chasing headlines. They're fixing what needs to be fixed while keeping their offensive firepower intact. And with a few key upgrades, this team is quietly positioning itself as a legitimate contender. The front office understands that consistency wins championships, and that's why they focused on retaining impact players first, before making external moves. One of those key re-signings was Chris Godwin, and the decision to bring him back could be the most important move of Tampa's entire offseason. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button as we are on the road of 20,000 subscribers, and your support means a lot. Let's aim for 300 likes on this video. When a team wins in free agency, it's usually because they fix weaknesses, not because they spend the most money. That's exactly what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are doing. Despite what critics say, this team didn't need a full rebuild. They already had a top 5 offense, a solid quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and a defense stacked with talent. Their only real challenge last season? Staying healthy. Injuries in the secondary hurt their ability to close out games, but when this team was at full strength, they were one of the most balanced rosters in the league. Instead of chasing overpriced free agents, Tampa focused on retaining key players who already know the system and have proven they can perform at a high level. The decision to re-sign Chris Godwin was a perfect example of this approach. He was set to be the most sought-after wide receiver in free agency, yet the Bucs managed to keep him while avoiding a bidding war. That's a sign of a smart front office, one that values continuity and chemistry over reckless spending. And it's not just Godwin. Lavonte David's return ensures that this defense keeps its leadership intact while allowing younger players to develop under a proven veteran. The Buccaneers understand that making small but strategic moves is far more valuable than throwing money at free agents just to make headlines. Their approach this offseason is about stability, not panic. That's why they focused on locking in core pieces first before making external additions. And when they finally did make an outside move, it wasn't just any player, it was a potential game changer on defense. That move? Signing Haason Reddick. Every offseason features one move that goes under the radar but ends up changing everything. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that move was signing Haason Reddick. At first glance, some might question why Tampa invested in a pass rusher who just had the worst season of his career. But those who understand the bigger picture know this could be the steal of the offseason. Reddick didn't suddenly lose his ability. His struggles last year were the result of a contract dispute with the Jets that kept him off the field for months. By the time he returned, he was out of rhythm, out of shape, and playing in a system that never truly fit his skill set. What people forget is that just 2 years ago, Reddick was one of the most feared edge rushers in the NFL. From 2020 to 2023, he racked up over 50 sacks, ranking among the top 4 in the league during that span. He was a Defensive Player of the Year finalist in 2022 and a back-to-back Pro Bowler. The talent has never been in question. He just needed the right situation. Tampa Bay offers him that. Under Todd Bowles' defensive scheme, Reddick won't be asked to do too much. His job is simple: attack the quarterback and disrupt the backfield. The best part? The Bucs got him on a 1-year, $14 million deal. A low-risk contract for a player who, if he returns to form, could be an absolute nightmare for opposing offenses. Tampa isn't just hoping Reddick bounces back, they're expecting it. And with the talent surrounding him on the defensive line, he won't have to carry the load alone. This is the perfect situation for him to remind the league who he really is. But Reddick is just one piece of the puzzle. Tampa Bay's entire defensive unit is stacked with talent, and when healthy, it has the potential to be one of the best in the NFL. A dominant defense isn't just about having star players, it's about depth. That's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have quietly built one of the strongest defensive rosters in the NFL. While other teams chase big-name signings, Tampa has focused on stacking talent across all positions, making sure they don't face the same injury struggles as last season. Their defensive line is loaded with playmakers who can disrupt any offense. Vita Vea remains a force in the middle, providing elite interior pressure, while Kalijah Kancey and Yaya Diaby bring a mix of speed and power off the edge. But what makes this defense dangerous isn't just the starters, it's the depth behind them. Tampa made smart, low-cost moves to bring in players who add value to their rotation. Kindle Vildor is a prime example. He might not be a household name, but his 26 career starts make him a valuable piece in the secondary. The Buccaneers also added Anthony Walker, a linebacker with over 80 career starts, who provides much-needed experience in coverage. These aren't headline-grabbing moves, but they are the kind of additions that win games in December and January. Another key factor is the development of Servosea Dennis. Many outsides of Tampa don't even know his name, but inside the organization, they view him as a legitimate starting-caliber linebacker. If he takes the next step, this defense becomes even scarier. The Bucs' strategy is clear: build a defense that can withstand injuries, rotate fresh legs, and wear down opponents. And if they can stay healthy, this unit has the potential to carry Tampa deep into the playoffs. But no matter how strong the defense is, a team can't win without a powerful offense. That's why Tampa's ability to keep their offensive core intact is just as important as their defensive improvements. A strong defense can keep a team competitive, but without an explosive offense, winning in today's NFL is nearly impossible. That's why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made sure their offensive firepower remains intact. They already had one of the most productive units last season, and despite changes around the league, they have the weapons to stay among the NFL's best. One of the biggest reasons for Tampa's success is Baker Mayfield's resurgence. He proved last season that he can lead a high-powered offense when given protection and playmakers. With a solid offensive line still in place, he will have the time needed to make big plays. His chemistry with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin continues to be a nightmare for defenses, while Jalen McMillan is emerging as a serious threat. The Buccaneers also made sure their backfield remains productive, with Rashad White and rookie addition Bucky Irving providing a strong rushing attack to balance out the offense. The secret to Tampa's offensive success isn't just talent, it's consistency. Unlike teams scrambling to adjust to new systems, Tampa's core playmakers remain the same. That's what makes them so dangerous. With Mayfield getting more comfortable in this system and a roster full of proven talent, this offense isn't just built to compete, it's built to dominate. But even with all the firepower on the roster, there's still one final piece needed to make Tampa a serious contender, a strong draft that fills key gaps and pushes them over the top. Now, it's time to hear from you. How do you grade Tampa Bay's offseason moves? Did they make the right decisions, or should they have been more aggressive in free agency? Drop your grades in the comments, A, B, C, or D, and let's debate whether this team is ready for another playoff push. Also, what's your biggest concern heading into the season? Let me know below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more NFL analysis and Buccaneers updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.